So there's something I wanted to do a video about for a very long time. It's not something that can be taught, but maybe something that I could help with. And that is getting over tank anxiety, also known as tankxiety. It's a cool name, you can use it anytime you want. I've read a ton of people who want to tank but don't feel comfortable with it. Hopefully after you watch this video, you'll be wanting to tank more often, or even just dabble your feet in it. But here's my personal story on how I got into tanking. I never really fully tanked up until Wrath of the Lich King, although I did for a brief time in the Burning Crusade. Fury Warriors, you just put a shield on them, give them all the defense rating in the world. You can kind of tank some things. It was amazing. But in the start of Wrath, we went into Naxxramas, and the main tank in our guild was a bear, a feral druid. I almost said guardian druid, but guardians didn't exist back then. He said, "Yeah, man, go for it. They're stam hoarders." I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So I went with a couple friends, did some heroics, and as I did it more and more, I was like, this is actually really easy. It's actually really fun. But I was nervous. I was so nervous the first time I went into tanking, you guys. Holy lightning. I wasn't shaking or anything, but I was like, oh, did I pull that right? I'm sure somebody will let me know. But I wanted to be a little more open about it. I said, if I'm doing anything wrong or any tips, let me know. I said that for, I think, about a year. Until I felt comfortable with myself that I was like, yeah, I can pull. But what drew me to the bear was the fantasy. The mighty bear, able to absorb tons of damage and become this brutal force of nature to claw through enemies. So I on and off tanked here and there. I went warrior tank in Mist of Pandaria because I love the shield aspect. And in Warlord's Journal, I was, the gladiator for a while just because I loved having a shield. May it rest in peace. Even though I loved the shield, I've always been a bear at heart. It also could be because there's no rhinos for guardian forms. That's what the artifact should have been. Different animals. Rhino for another tanking form, maybe a Komodo dragon for the I digress. I apologize. Tanking can be a ton of fun, and I hope you don't feel too intimidated because it can become really easy. But before I begin on my tips, I need to stress something. People are going to be jerks. People are going to be impatient. The only thing you need to focus on is getting better at tanking if you're starting out. People may say, oh, re-roll or uninstall, or even you suck, but you need to ignore them. If you follow some of these steps, you might be able to help avoid some of this, although it's the internet. You're never going to be able to avoid it all. Even as good as I am, in my opinion, I still get sometimes, some people are like, why didn't you pull this way? Because I'm tanking, not you. Remember to say that too. So, first step to anyone wanting to tank is find the fantasy you like. So first you pick your race. Do you want to be an orc? Do you want to be an undead? Or a walking fridge, that's the Draenei. Do you want to be a female? Do you want to be a beautiful, nice Draenei? Do you want to be a gnome with 4 fingers? Pick that you like first before you begin to pick your class. Some of them do have class restrictions, but after you pick your race, you can then begin to go for your class. Do you like being an indestructible bear? A stalwart protector? A wielder of the light? Do you want to be death incarnate using blood to fuel himself? Or a fun, drunk, fire-breathing monk? Maybe a demon hunter, sworn to kill anything the Legion throws at them. Once you've picked your race, then your class, you can begin step 2. The second step I would highly recommend is you level it from level 1, or the lowest level it can be, from scratch. If you feel you can do it at max level, that's okay. But leveling will help you get a better idea of which cooldowns to use and give you a slower introductory into your class, and especially how it feels. Again, it's not necessary. I recommend going into the Proving Grounds if you're just at max level. Once you feel like you're starting to get a feel for things, you can venture into dungeons that are a little easier for you. So if you're geared for mythics, do heroics. If you're geared for heroics, do normals. If you're just, hit 110, maybe do a 108, 107 dungeon. Just get a feel for it. You can, however, throw yourself into the fray. It's a little harder, but it will get you attuned more quickly. My next step is, it's dangerous to go alone. Bring a friend. Doing heroics with guildmates or friends will help you much more than doing it with just random people. If you don't have any friends that you really like to play with, that's okay. You can skip the step if you want. But in WoW, you're going to have to talk to somebody if you want to tank eventually. Especially for raiding, if you want to tank on raiding, you're going to have to talk to your off tank. But the best part about raiding, I find as a tank, is there's just you and the other tank. You're the only two that have to coordinate anything. None of the DPS should be dictating how you tank something. Healers might be like, maybe it'd be better if you guys stood here because it'd be easier if I can help. That's fine, but the two tanks are the ones that have to coordinate everything. So especially if you really like a guy in your guild that tanks, ask him for help. Maybe be like, hey, could I try off tanking with you one night? I'm sure they would love to help you and get another tank in there that they really love to be. The most important advice I can give to anyone though is just have fun. It's a game after all. People are gonna talk smack, but as long as you love your character and you're having fun, no one will ever be able to take that away from you if you ignore them. I know I didn't say too many things about how to actually get through the anxiety, but the only way to get through the anxiety is just do it. That's the Nike slogan. It's not just try, just do it, man. Just go in, have fun, go with your friends. If you don't have friends, that's okay. Join a guild, join a casual guild, make friends. You'll be able to tank with them, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I can go into a more serious raiding guild, and then go from there. Tank anxiety is one of the biggest reasons I've ever seen people not tanking. But seriously, don't worry about it. Don't worry about having that anxiety. Just have fun and do it. Just try it, and I'm sure you'll love it. You'll get a bad group or two. The amount of bad groups I get are minuscule now, but at the beginning of the expansion, there'll always be people that are like, "Oh yeah, you suck, re-roll." But anyway, that's the only tips that I have. It's because there's not much to it. Don't let anxiety stop you from being, and pardon my language here, a badass tank. Don't let that stop you. Thank you guys very much for watching. I have something very special coming just after Legion's launch, so hopefully stay tuned for that, and see you guys later.